Thor has to be one of my most played characters in Marvel Rivals. I remember when I first joined the game, I love this kit and his unique, Thor Force mechanic resource. I love this kit. I love the way he looked, the way he fought. Even now, honestly, even now in Season 8, by the time I'm recording this video, and hopefully by the time I upload it as well, even now I think the character is strong and holds up quite well. He's like, a brawler, bruiser type tank that's really good at taking duels, high burst damage. Like, of course, when you think about it, like, good displacement, sustainability, mobility. A character like that, like, should be good, right? You look at his kit, you're like, yeah, he should be good as a character. He should be. He really should. Except there is one part of his kit that just doesn't hold up. It hasn't held up since the game launched. It hasn't held up in Season 2, not in Season 4, not in Season 7. It doesn't matter. It never held up, and it still doesn't hold up. And that part of his kit, as you already know, is his ultimate. Thor's ultimate is absolutely terrible, and it pains me to say this. Just as it was absolutely terrible on launch. The first thing I want to say is, how? How is the ult still terrible when the game has been out for over a year? Now, obviously, I could go on an hour-long rant. Rah, 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 the devs have done a bad job. How's the character? Blah, 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 blah. And I won't do that. I won't. I'm trying to make, I want this video to be a bit more constructive than just a rah, 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 rant and groaning and grumbling. And first, I have to explain to you guys why Thor's ult is terrible. So first reason, it's pretty simple. Thor ult is just a noob trap ult. It's a noob trap, okay? Imagine, like, think Scarlet Witch ult. Loud voice line, loud warning, big red exclamation mark and circle screaming, "Don't go near this spot, you will take damage." Big red circle on the floor, don't stay in the circle or else you will take damage. Yeah, Thor ult suffers from the noob trap ult effect, okay? So, like, the devs were like, we need to make sure that the players avoid this ult, right? They didn't create the ult from the point of view of Thor himself, like, okay, we need to make an ult that's strong. No, they created the ult from the point of view of the person getting hit by the ult. Okay, we have to make it fair and easy to dodge. That's what they thought when they made the ult, right? Second reason why Thor ult is mid. Thor ult has the I would have won the fight anyway effect. What is the I would have won the fight anyway effect? What this means is that Thor ult is so bad that whenever you use it and you actually find success with it, you almost always would have ended up, winning without having used it anyway. So you end up telling yourself, wait a second, I would have won without ulting anyway there. Like, I just ulted the two, like, their whole team died, there was just two supports running away, I ulted them, and I got the kill on them, but, like, I would have gotten the kill even without ulting. So Thor ult suffers from this. I know there are a few other characters in the game that suffer from a similar effect, or perhaps you feel something similar when you play other characters, but Thor most definitely suffers from this. It's rare, it can happen, but it's rare that Thor ult actually shifts the state of the battlefield. Moving on, third reason, Thor ult has like 30 different counters, and I'm barely exaggerating when I say this. So let me name a few of Thor ult's counters, just for you guys to really understand how terrible this ult is. So, Thor can get stunned or booped out of the startup of his ult, so it's an ult that has startup. Kind of like a Psylocke ult, she goes like, she pauses for a second, takes her sword out. If you stun her in the middle of it, she goes back to 50%. While with Thor, it's the same thing. He can get stunned or booped, he has a short startup where he can get stunned or booped, and he'll go back to 50% ult charge. Second, Thor is raised into the air when he ults, with 0 bonus health, damage reduction, or added sustainability, making him an extremely easy kill. That means that say you're Thor, you're in the middle of a big brawl, you're fighting like crazy, and then you get ult, you pop it, you get no bonus health, no damage reduction, no sustainability, nothing to keep you up while you're in the air. So any Punisher can see you, shoot you in the air, and right before you land, you just smoke grenade to get out of the radius, so he doesn't get hit anyway. And then, of course, when you land, you have like half a second of end lag, he cheeses you and headshots you. You understand how terrible the ult is, right? Compare even just Penny Parker's ultimate. Gives her like 400 bonus health. Spider-Man gives him bonus health. Psylocke makes her invulnerable while she's in the ult. Right? Then you have Thor ult, nothing. The only thing he has is that he's CC immune, and guess what? He actually, when the game launched, he used to not even be CC immune in the air. Isn't that crazy? Um, then continuing, the slam, you know, when he lands, behold, and then he lands, and that's supposed to be the big damage. Yeah, the slam can get blocked by shields. Every shield without exception, so not just brawl shields like, say, Venomolt. When he chomps, it counts as brawl damage, so it can't get blocked by shields. But brawl characters that have shields are an exception. Like Cap and Angela, they can block it because they count as brawl characters. And their shields are used for blocking melee as well, or else, you know, they would be useless. But with Thor, every shield blocks it. Every shield blocks it. So like Invis shield, Strange shield, Mag shield, White Fox shield, any shield blocks the ult. So remember that. And then of course during the ult itself, while he's in the air using the ult, Thor is extremely slow. Luna can ice skate uphill. She can ice skate away from him. Invis can double jump. Rocket can dash. It's so slow that only literal droolers get caught in it. Okay. And if you guys want to know what's funny, it used to be even slower than it is now. Like right now you think Thor ult is slow? Well, it used to be even slower before Season 4. They buffed the speed in Season 4 and still it feels super slow. And also something that's funny is that you know how Thor's ult makes him CC immune? It seems to be bugged, whereas slow effects that you got hit by before you start using the ult, they don't get cleansed when you ult. Which means that say when a Bucky you know, uses his E on you as like ranged projectile, kind of punch projectile on you, the red thing, blast on you, and it slows you down for a few seconds. So say Bucky hits you with that, and then you ult, you will still be slowed down until it runs out. Even though he's CC immune. When you're CC immune, you're not supposed to be able to get slowed. But Thor's ultimate doesn't cleanse him of slow effects. Do you understand the problem? So let's say I'm being slowed by an Invis shield, and I ult, I will still be slowed for a few seconds. That's a big problem. Okay? And of course, last but not least, the ult itself does no damage. No damage. Now you might be saying, wait, hold on, I agreed with you with pretty much every point before, but no damage, I feel like you're being disingenuous. The Thor ult does good damage. Now, let me clarify to you. Let me be honest and really tell you how horrible the ult is, even if you think it does good damage, which you think on paper 220, the slam, plus the lightning sparks, it feels like it's decent damage. Let me clarify to you how bad it is, even damage-wise. Thor ult is literally the biggest noob trap ult of all time next to Scarlet Witch, or perhaps just below her in terms of noob trap. Scarlet Witch is more of a noob trap, then there's Thor, okay? And this ult, when you manage to land on enemies, so the enemy, right? The guy you're trying to hit with the ult has to be dumb enough, or careless enough, or have bad resource management, or have messed up, well, not once, not twice, but multiple times, to not run away from it, you know, to not just kill you, to not, while you're in the air, to not raise up a shield, to not, you know, anything. They have to be careless enough, dumb enough to get hit by it, and do you know what happens? Even if they are careless enough to get hit, they only take 220 damage. Oh, but that's not it. You see, before Thor lands, he also throws out these lightning sparks or lightning bolts around him from his hammer that also deal damage before the actual, you know, the big slam, the landing itself. He throws 5 of these lightning sparks, 5 of them. Do you want to know how much damage these lightning sparks do? Remember, this is an ultimate ability, by the way. They do a whopping 40 damage. A Hulk punch. Like 40 damage is a Hulk punch. Like, it's a Magneto quick melee. Magneto quick melee does 40 damage. If you guys didn't know. 40 damage. Oh, but he throws 5 of them, right? He goes like, it's 5 times, boom, 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 and then he lands. Right? So 40 times 5 equals 200 damage. 200 damage that gets out healed by Luna or Invis literally yawning in their general direction. Okay? And the damage, the lightning sparks are not done in quick enough succession, so the attack interval is too weak. It just doesn't matter. And 200 damage is not enough to kill. You need the slam to kill, and the slam again can get blocked by shields or dodged extremely easily. And then again, even the lightning sparks won't even hit the enemy if they're not in the radius under you. Okay? So yeah, this is why Thor ult is a terrible ultimate. I'm going to compare Scarlet Witch ult again, because they're designed kind of similarly, as I said. You know, they're both noob trap ults that are really easy to dodge or avoid, but if you get caught in them, it's your fault and you should, you know, be heavily punished, die, etc. Except Scarlet Witch ult does 9,999 damage, so a guaranteed 1-tap to everything. And Thor ult does 220 damage on the slam. Like, do you see now why it's so bad? Scarlet Witch is a noob trap ult as well. Does legit infinite damage. It one-shots everything, right? Even if it's... I'm not saying Scarlet Witch is a strong ult. Please listen, like, I'm trying to make a comparison. They're both similar ults, but Scarlet Witch ult, on the punishment for being careless enough to get hit by it, is so much harsher than Thor. Do you see now why it's so bad? Now, we'll give Thor's ult one thing. It's true that Thor's ultimate is very easy to farm. The ult cost is 3,100, 3,100, which is a pretty standard cost for ults in this game. It's like not too cheap, not too expensive. It's like the middle ground. It's like the same cost as like Strange ult. But since Thor can have so much, you know, on-demand high burst damage, Awakening Rune, and extremely high uptime too, then if you really want to farm ult, you can get it extremely fast as well. But so do other characters. They can farm their ults extremely fast, like Groot or Doctor Strange, but their ults are just way better than Thor ult. You see the problem, right? There's no point in playing Thor to farm your ult since the ult is terrible. Like, do you see how it just doesn't work? Like, there's just something missing with the character. Say you can play Groot, farm damage, play for your ult, because the ult is so good, so that works. Same for Strange, same for Mag even though Mag's ult is a bit more expensive, you can have really high uptime damage because his left clicks do immense damage and AoE. Dino, like same for a lot of characters. Even Hulk, like his bubbles give him ult charge, right? But not Thor. Thor, even if you can play this way, you can farm damage, there's no point because his ult is weak. It's weak. It's just weak. His ult is just that bad. And again, it gets blocked by shields. No, I won't stop mentioning that. It gets blocked by shields just for it to not even one-shot, even if you hit somebody with it. So, and you guys might think, okay, but like, come on, if Thor's ult can get blocked by shields, it would be way too OP. And I sort of agree with you, because it's instant, he gets it pretty fast, like, he can straight up, almost instantly go in the air and start the ult, like, and just killing anybody under him, like server admin, is kind of unfair. Even though there are characters that can do that, or do something equally as cancer, if not more cancer, and they're accepted in the game, right? But let me give you an example. Mag's ultimate gets blocked by shields, just like Thor, except Mag's ultimate one-shots. Thor ult can't even kill an Atom Warlock or a Rocket. It does 220 damage, which means they live on the slam. Which means it also can't kill through support ults as well, which means it's kind of terrible. The entire purpose of the ult is to do damage, and it doesn't do damage to kill anything, so what's the point of the ult? Now you might say, but LGV, hold on, I can't make it. But LGV, if Thor could kill through support ults, he would be broken. Okay, his ult gets blocked by shields. Mag's ult gets blocked by shields. Mag ult can kill through support ults. Thor ult cannot kill through support ults. Do you see? Same thing for Strange. Strange can kill through support ults. His ult gets blocked by shields as well. Groot ult gets blocked by shields. He can kill through support ults, and he also gets it super fast. The cost is lower. And also, all of these ults have way more utility. Utility for those who don't know, right? Maybe the newbies and watching the YouTube video might not know. Utility are additional effects that aren't damage. So like say slow down, stun, bonus health, right? They're utility. They're things that give, they're things that make the ult useful outside of doing damage. So like compare Thor's ult utility to all these other ults. Thor ult utility stuns for 1 second after landing. It's like a micro 1 second stun after landing, which is, I'll say it, a bit useful, I won't lie. Compare that to Mag ult utility, absorbs literally almost every single projectile in the game, and when he absorbs these projectiles, it makes his own ult stronger. So he doesn't just absorb them and reduces them to nothing, he absorbs them and makes his own ult stronger. Like, that's insane. And this also has the benefit of completely cutting off enemy healing, because heals in this game are mostly what? Projectiles. So you're also absorbing healing, so you're preventing healers from healing, which also in turn completely pauses, like you put a pause on the enemy team's momentum just by pressing Q. You don't even have to land the ult. You just press Q, the entire enemy team has to pause, look up at you, try to dodge you, be careful not to feed your ult. And naturally, since it absorbs projectile, it also counters a wide variety of poke character ultimates, like Star-Lord, Punisher, even Hela, etc., right? Now, again, compared to utility of Thor Ultimate, the only utility it has is that he stuns enemies for 1 second after landing. Okay, he has a stun, he does damage as a stun, okay. Strange ult stuns enemies for 3 seconds, which is 3 times as much as Thor ult. Now you might say, okay, but Strange ult doesn't do damage. Well, yeah, but actually that's not true because Strange Ult also separates the soul, you know, from the body. That's what it does, Eye of Agamotto. What that does is that when Strange does damage, he will be able to hit both the soul and the body. So he's not actually just stunning enemies for 3 seconds. No, he's stunning enemies for 3 seconds and doubling the damage he does to them in those 3 seconds. So that means he can Eye of Agamotto with 100 Dark Magic and then use his Explosion, Maelstrom of Madness, and do double damage. Maelstrom of Madness does 130 damage at full charge, doubled, which means if it hits both the soul and the body, which is easy because it's just an AoE explosion around you, it does 260 damage, which is more damage than Thor's ultimate. Reminder that Strange ult stuns for 3 seconds, and Thor's ult stuns for 1 second. And Strange also gets a free damage burst of 260 damage, meanwhile Thor is 220. Strange can kill 250 HP and even 275 if the burst is fast enough through support ults. Thor cannot. These ults cost the same. Do you understand the problem? Groot ult. Groot ult launches a projectile that spreads and causes like a plant. He throws a plant that strangles every opponent in an 8-meter radius. That grabs every opponent in an 8-meter radius and then tightly groups them in a single small area for 3.5 seconds, a longer stun than Strange ult. And obviously imprisoning enemies like that is extremely useful for team wipes and combos. Groot ult is cheaper than Thor ult. Groot ult has the same radius, the same hitbox as Thor's ultimate. You know when you go up with Thor and there's like the big circle below you, that's like if enemies are in that circle, you will hit them when you land. That radius is 8 meters, right? 8-meter radius. Groot ult is also 8 meters. They have the same radius. Do you think Groot ult is stronger than Thor ult, or do you think Thor ult is equal or stronger than Groot ult? Now you understand how terrible Thor ult is. And Groot ult is cheaper. The only thing Thor ult has better than Groot is it does more damage. It's also slower. Groot ult, it's fast, like you say, I am Groot, he already threw it, he already imprisoned your team. Thor, he goes up in the air, extremely loud voice line, behold! You have a good like 2 seconds, 3 seconds to raise a shield and block it. Groot ult, it's almost instant. You need good reflexes. You understand the difference. Now you're starting to understand, okay? Thor ult, again, can get blocked or dodged, excuse me for being rude, by a literal monkey on the keyboard or on the controller, and even if he hits the slam, it doesn't even do enough damage to break through the 250 HP threshold, and it only stuns for 1 pitiful second. Do you see what I mean? To think that on launch, Thor ult used to not even give him CC immunity when he was in the air. So you would be able to literally like Luna freeze him or Spider-Man pull him while he was in the air and it would cancel his ult. Wow. To think that before Season 4, he used to move even slower in the ult and he used to not even have a stun at the end. Wow. Like, guys, please understand how much they don't like this ult. I don't know what they have against it over at NetEase. They do not want Thor ult to be good. Like, in the same game, Devil Dinosaur Ultimate exists, Black Cat Ultimate exists, Daredevil Ultimate exists, Mag Ultimate exists, Strange ult, even Thing Venom, like their ultimates. You get them fast, they're good, they're decent, like. And then you just have Thor ult. Psylocke Ultimate exists, Punny, Star-Lord ult exists, Invis ult exists, Rocket ult exists. Insane utility, damage, whatever, right? And then you just have Thor, extremely underpowered since the launch of the game. It was slightly good in Season 4 after it got buffed, but I don't even think it's because the ult was actually good. I think it's just that us Thor players, we were so used to the ult being garbage that it just being better than what it was before made it seem like it was way better than it is in reality, if you get what I mean. It's more so the contrast between how bad it was before to now it being just an underpowered ult. It used to be garbage terrible, and then it went from being garbage terrible to being just terrible. So the contrast felt crazy, right? But now we realize that the ult is, wow, it's really bad, right? Now, you might be thinking, okay, LGV, I hear you. Thor ult is trash, you've convinced me. But how could the devs possibly make it better? Well, I have a few suggestions. First of all, the damage. I'm sorry, the slam, the landing, should not be doing a pitiful 220 damage. 220. 220 damage. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. No, no, no. In my opinion, it should be, the landing should be doing minimum 240 damage. I'm kind enough not to give it 50, because that's the instant 250 threshold. I understand how that could have problems, even though I don't think it would make the character cancer if you could one-tap 250 with the landing. But I'm gonna be kind here. Give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe it would be cancer. Give them the benefit of the doubt, 240 damage. But minimum 240 damage. And the lightning sparks, you know, the lightning bolts, the lightning sparks he throws out on an AoE before the landing. He throws out 5 of them, as I said earlier, if you were paying attention. Yeah, well, each of these currently do 40 damage. I believe they should do 50 damage instead of 40. 50. Remember, 5 lightning sparks, so 50 times 5 equals 250. Yeah, right now there's a total, like just the lightning sparks in total, 40 times 5, 200. So it would go from 200 to 250. These 2 damage changes combined would make it so that Thor would be able to kill through supportals. With a combination of the lightning sparks damage and the landing damage, since the damage would hopefully, of course, I'm not a playtester, I don't have means to playtest the numbers live, but hopefully the damage numbers would be high enough and dealt in a quick enough interval, in a quick enough attack interval, which is important to out-damage healing in this game. They would be dealt in a quick enough interval that supportal's healing wouldn't be able to keep up, or would almost not be able to keep up, and thus Thor would be able to kill through supportals. I would also love for his ult to have a slightly bigger radius, from 8 meters to maybe 9, right? Maybe 10, but I think just the damage buffs would be good enough. Maybe even increasing the duration of a stun from 1 second to 2. I think that would be interesting, right? If you think this is too OP, remember that Thor's ult gets blocked by shields, has an 8 meter AoE radius, the same as Groot, again the same as Groot, and that he can, of course, literally be killed in the middle of it. And if that doesn't work, you can just dash away from it. It doesn't apply Earthbound, like say Namor, you know Namor's ultimate? He summons that circle under you? Yeah, that applies Earthbound if you're in the circle. So he just server admin gives you Earthbound. Just because he pressed his Q button, his ultimate button, in your general area, you get Earthbound. Thor ult doesn't do that. So I think it should be fair that if you get caught by Thor ult, like this is a lot of filters to get hit by. You need to not have been able to dodge it, not have been able to block it with a shield, not have been able to stun him out of a startup, not have been able to push him or stun him before he comes close enough to the point that you can't run away from his ult. And of course you need to not have been able to have killed him. Those are a lot of filters. So if all these filters go through, I'm sorry, you should die to Thor ult, I dare say. And again, I'll say this again, it's not like Mag ult. Mag ult, there's a Mag ulting in front of you. You can't shoot him, because if you shoot him, he's gonna absorb your projectiles and he's gonna use them against you because it makes his ult even stronger. It, like, you know, he's like Frieza, he's with the big supernova, it grows or whatever in power and size. Shooting him would only be making his ult stronger, right? No! Thor, no, you can just shoot him for free. You're not making his ult stronger. He doesn't get any bonus health, he doesn't get any DR. So I believe Thor Ultimate deserves to be a threat on the battlefield. And not a laughing stock of an ult that makes me regret maining the character every time I use it, and then it gets blocked, or the enemy below, or the enemies that were literally below me half a second before I land, I'm like, oh, surely I'm gonna hit them, right? And then right before I land, a Gambit dashes, or Invis jumps, or whatever, right? Or a shield comes up, or White Fox TPs, and then, oh, I just land on nothing, and then they stun me, and then they one-shot me. And then I regret maining the character. I'm like, why did I even press Q? Why did I pick Thor before walking out of spawn, right? So yeah, those are my ideas. Let me know if you guys agree. Let me know what changes you would give to Thor's ultimate, or even to his base kit. I love the character, I think he should be good. Originally I wanted to make like a sophisticated suggestion about using his Thor Force to like buff his ult, like you could put points of Thor Force into his ult while you're in the startup to like buff it, give it additional effects. But I feel like that's kind of like feature creep, and that like I feel like that's going beyond what the ult needs. The ult just needs to actually have a threat, you know? When you get hit by Thor ult, I'm sorry, you should die. You shouldn't, you know, it shouldn't be like a squeaky toy. You know when you land, you know the sound of a squeaky toy? That's legit how I imagine Thor every time he lands after his ult. It's just so pathetic and weak, right? So yeah, I hope maybe the devs can see this video, you can share this video, I don't know, send suggestions. I send suggestions through the in-game tab often. And yeah, I love the game, I want it to be better, and I want this character to be better, and this ult to be better. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, whatever you'd like. And I'll see you guys later. Have a nice day.